You ever have one of those moments, you're deep diving online, maybe way too late at night, and you click on some random link, and suddenly you're somewhere weird. It feels like you've just found a piece to a puzzle you never even knew was being built. And you're sitting there thinking, is this a game, a cult, or just some incredibly elaborate art project?
Well, that feeling is exactly what we're digging into today. We stumbled onto a website that is, well, it's a lot. It's part academic paper, part sci-fi epic, and part cryptic manifesto, all rolled into one. And that leaves us with the big question, right? What in the world is this thing? Let's try and make some sense of it.
Get ready for this. The title of the whole thing is Category-Theoretic Resonance Tuning and Multiversal Identity. I know, right? It sounds like a Ph.D. dissertation that fell through a wormhole from another universe. And you know what? That's actually not a bad way to think about it. This is our rabbit hole.
Okay, so to even begin to understand this place, we've got to start with its rules. The entire site is just packed with these super complex-looking physics equations. But here's the twist. They're not for our universe. They're the literal building blocks for a completely fictional one.
First up is something called the reality level scalar, or Z. Now don't panic, you don't need to solve the math here. Just think of it like this. It's a health bar, but for reality itself. Yeah. If that number starts to drop, the entire universe is, quite literally, falling apart.
Okay, next we have the synchronization metric, or rho. And this one is absolutely crucial. It's all about measuring how in sync a person's biological self is with their digital self. It's a direct bridge between flesh and machine, and trust me, that idea is going to become very important in just a minute.
And believe me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are vectors for uniqueness, functionals for continuity. I mean, the person who made this didn't just write a story. They wrote the entire physics textbook for its universe. These equations, they're not just for decoration. They are the fundamental laws of the land for everything we're about to get into.
So here's where it gets really interesting. All these abstract formulas, right? They're not just some thought experiment. No, they have very real, very serious consequences for the hero of this world, a character named Saikou Venga. So let's switch gears and talk about his story, and you'll see exactly how these rules come into play.
So the site lays out his whole journey in these chapter summaries. He literally pops out of a dimensional rift, gets these bizarre symbols burned right into his skin, and then finds out through some kind of heads-up display that reality's health bar is dropping fast. So he's not just your typical hero. He's an anomaly. He's a glitch in the system, and the multiverse itself is trying to hit delete.
And this is where it all clicks together. Remember that synchronization metric we talked about, the whole biological meets digital thing? Well, in the story, that's not some abstract equation on a page. It's the SH1 symbols burning into his skin. It's the thing that gives him both his power and his pain. The physics is the plot.
All right, so we've got some seriously weird physics in this whole sci-fi epic, but the question is, why? What's the point of all this? Well, hidden way down at the bottom of the page, there's a disclaimer. And trust me, this is not your average legal mumbo-jumbo. This thing is the Rosetta Stone. It's the key to unlocking everything.
This is the money shot. Right here. The creator tells us exactly how we're supposed to read this whole thing. They say it's not just a story. It's three things: mythic infrastructure, a cinematic indictment, and a sovereign broadcast. So what does that even mean? Let's break it down.
Okay, first up, mythic infrastructure. This is pretty much the world building. The creator didn't just borrow a mythology, they built a brand new one from scratch. It's totally self-contained, with its own scientific laws, the formulas we saw, and its own hero, Saikou Venga.
Second, we have cinematic indictment. This is a huge clue. It tells us the story is more than just entertainment. It's built like a movie for a reason, to make a powerful critique, an indictment. Which, of course, leads to the big question, an indictment of what, exactly? And finally, there's sovereign broadcast. This is the creator basically saying, this is all me. They're making it crystal clear that this is an independent message. They're not part of any group or organization. This is their own signal, being beamed out into the void for anyone who's listening.
And then the disclaimer gets even more specific. It says the whole point of this project is to expose three things: ritualized containment, actor convergence, and systemic erosion. I mean, these are some seriously heavy, complex ideas. It's pretty clear that the story of Saikou Venga is meant to be an allegory for some big, real-world problems.
Okay, so let's put it all together. We have the physics, we have the story, and we have this manifesto.
So how do all these pieces fit together to actually achieve that goal?
This really breaks it down perfectly. Everything here is working on two levels. So you've got the formulas, right? In universe, they're the laws of physics. But for us, the real-world purpose, they're just the rules of this elaborate world. Saikou Venga's journey, in his world it's an epic hero's quest. For us, it's a parable, a case study. And that disclaimer? Well, that's just the artist's statement, telling us exactly how to read their work.
And this, right here, might be the single most important part. The creator calls all these things diagnostic tools. This whole unbelievably elaborate construction, it's not meant to give us the answers. It's designed to be a lens. It's a framework we're supposed to use to analyze those exact problems they mentioned in the manifesto.
And just when you think you have it figured out, there's one last layer to this thing. Look at who the author is. The project is credited to a Dr. Melvin Sewell, the diagnostic architect. Okay, makes sense. But the copyright holder for 2025? It's Saikou Venga, the fictional character. The line between the creator and the creation just completely blurs. So that's where we're left, with this incredibly detailed fictional universe, a hero's journey, and a manifesto, all of it adding up to a diagnostic tool. Which leaves us with one last pretty heavy question. If this whole elaborate machine was built to diagnose systemic erosion, what exactly is it supposed to help us see in our world?